when it goes into it and you have that, I think that's a smart move. When you go up, you're gonna try to build legacy. You're gonna do certain things like that, and he's gonna run like his cousin. Was it Makhachev or was it Khabib? And I think Makhachev is a better grappler, honestly. I think he's a little bit faster. I think with Khabib, I think he's just a little bit more, not timid of the freestyle that Makhachev presents, but I think Makhachev, he's not going to do so bad at 170. I think he'll be all right.
Since Islam Makhachev made the jump to the welterweight division, fans have been eager to see how he performs against the competition. UFC veteran Tony Ferguson has expressed his belief that Makhachev will dominate and eventually claim the title in his new weight class. However, current champion Jack Della Maddalena isn't convinced. He's confident he has what it takes to defeat Makhachev, noting that Islam rarely changes stances, something Jack sees as a strategic advantage, giving him clear opportunities to land powerful shots.
How do you see it playing out?
I think I can take him out. I think. But Bilal really just changes stances a lot, walks forward. But I think if I can have someone that just stays in the same stance, and I don't think, but Islam's a very good striker. I think I could land a lot of shots, and I think I could take him out.
Wow.
Stuff the takedowns. If I get taken down, I believe I can get back to my feet.
Meanwhile, Tony Ferguson is optimistic about Islam Makhachev's chances in the welterweight division. According to Ferguson, Makhachev has already proven himself at lightweight by successfully defending his title multiple times and consistently making weight, which reflects his discipline and skill at 155 pounds. He believes that stepping up to welterweight could be a strategic move for Makhachev to further cement his legacy. However, Ferguson also hinted at some skepticism, suggesting that Islam might eventually shy away from tough matchups, drawing a comparison to his cousin Khabib.
How many times at 55?
He defended it 4 times.
That's much more, you know what I mean? And he made weight, you know what I mean? So, I mean, when it goes into it and you have that, I think that's a smart move. When you go up, you're gonna try to build legacy. You're gonna do certain things like that, and he's gonna run like his cousin.
Tony Ferguson also shared his thoughts on how Islam Makhachev might fare in a potential matchup against Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title. According to Ferguson, one important factor for Makhachev's success would be maintaining a walk-around weight closer to 170 pounds, since repeatedly cutting down to 155 can take a toll on the body. He reflected on his own experience with extreme weight cuts, like the one he endured in Dubai, highlighting the risks when not properly supervised. Ferguson went on to say that, in his view, Makhachev is a quicker and more skilled grappler than Khabib, and he's confident that Islam could perform well if he fully commits to the move up in weight.
Also fought at 170. So how do you think Islam will do when he fights JDM for that 170 belt?
Okay, so the best advice is to be able to walk around at that weight. The big cut going to 155 is bad. I mean, if you're able to, because even mine when I went to Dubai, like I cut from 70 something to like 64 and a half. I overdid it, wasn't paying attention. I should have took a fucking IV. I was sick of shit. If you're not having somebody monitor your weight and you're doing that and you're fluctuating, you're going to develop like a harder time to keep that weight and like put more weight on after it. But Makhachev's, I'm going to tell you, somebody was telling me, who do you think's a better wrestler? Was it Makhachev or was it Khabib? And I think Makhachev is a better grappler, honestly. I think he's a little bit faster. I think with Khabib, I think he's just a little bit more, not timid of the freestyle that Makhachev presents, but I think Makhachev, he's not going to do so bad at 170. I think he'll be...
Charles Oliveira, who is set to face Ilia Topuria at UFC 317, weighed in on the possible clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. Oliveira considers Jack a serious threat, not because he hunts for knockouts, but due to his methodical style, wearing opponents down over time, much like he did against Bilal Muhammad. Despite this, Oliveira is confident that Makhachev will adapt well at welterweight, highlighting Islam's increased strength and his dependable grappling skills. In Oliveira's view, the result of the fight will largely depend on whether Jack can maintain his movement and striking range, or if Makhachev is able to take the fight to the mat.
Que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo...
On the other side, Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez made it clear that their camp isn't taking Jack Della Maddalena lightly. Mendez stressed that underestimating Jack would be a major mistake, especially after witnessing his gritty showdown with Belal Muhammad. He praised Belal's toughness and noted how both fighters endured significant punishment in that fight. Mendez emphasized that their coaching staff, including Khabib Nurmagomedov and other experienced trainers, fully respects Jack's skills, durability, and the serious threat he poses. He assured that they are preparing thoroughly for what they expect to be a real test.
As coaches think Jack is easier, we're stupid.
Yep.
We are very stupid. Then we didn't watch the Belal fight, because Belal can take a hell of a shot. He can take a hell of a shot, and he took him. And he gave him two. Belal gave him two. So it was a war. That fight was a war. And you know what? For us to think it's an easy fight for us, you know, what kind of idiot coaches are we? Khabib's not an idiot, and neither am I. And neither is Magomed, neither is Saif Safullah, and Muhammad, the other coaches that they work with Islam.
Javier Mendez also pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena holds a physical advantage over Islam Makhachev and poses a serious threat with his striking. While Mendez still considers Ilia Topuria the sharpest boxer in the game, he acknowledged Jack's versatility, especially his ability to mix in powerful kicks targeting the head, body, and legs, which makes him a dangerous and well-rounded opponent. Mendez was clear, this won't be an easy fight. He stated that Islam will only be able to dominate if their training goes flawlessly or if Jack has an off night. He's anticipating a tough high-level contest where precision and preparation are absolutely critical.
We're dealing with a much bigger guy and just as dangerous, if not more dangerous in different variations. Not boxing, because I think Topuria's got the best boxing in the business. I still believe that. But Jack is well-versed in the kicking and the arsenal, how he mixes it up. He's really good at head and body, leg, everything. He's really, really good at that. So we have our hands cut out for us. It's not an easy fight at all. If Islam, by some miracle of a chance, makes that fight to be like slam dunk, it's because we were properly prepared, or Jack wasn't as prepared, or Jack was injured, or Jack just got caught. But it's gonna be one of those fights. It's not easy. No way in hell is that fight going to be easy. Very tough.
Javier Mendez also voiced strong confidence in Islam Makhachev's chances against Jack Della Maddalena. He stated that Islam is highly motivated for the potential matchup and has the tools to deal with Jack both on the feet and on the ground. Mendez pointed out that unlike Belal Muhammad, Islam is known for strictly sticking to the game plan, a quality he believes will make a big difference. He also dismissed any concerns about size, saying Islam will hold his own physically at welterweight and could become a dominant force in the division. According to Mendez, Jack has never encountered an opponent like Islam, and if the fight happens, fans should be ready for an explosive showdown.
I just know Islam wants this one, and he can do it all. Can he take Jack down? Absolutely, he can take him down. Can he outstrike Jack? Absolutely, he can outstrike him. Maybe a better deal to do what Belal should have done and what he didn't do. And that's something I know that Islam will do because he's never not listened to us. And also, with the weight, Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight. Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of...
Elsewhere, both Demetrius Johnson and the MMA guru have weighed in with their predictions, backing Islam Makhachev to emerge victorious. They believe his ability to dictate the pace, with relentless takedowns and sharp knees, will be the key to success. While Ilia Topuria might be able to fend off some of the early attacks, they expect Makhachev's non-stop pressure to wear him down over time, potentially ending the fight with a well-placed body shot.
Got Makhachev.
I got Makhachev as well.
And I've got Makhachev second round TKO with a knee in the
Oh,
clinch.
yeah, you going bad rounds.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot a couple takedowns. Ilya will stuff it. Ilya will catch him a few times and people will go ooh and ah. And then when they clash again, I think Makhachev will go grab him. Yep. Ilya will think, oh, he's shooting again. Tight clinch, bang, body, knee to the head. Ilya's all of a sudden stumble, downhill from there. I think he beats
Aljamain Sterling also chimed in with a bold prediction, stating that he sees Jack Della Maddalena winning convincingly in a potential matchup with Islam Makhachev. According to Sterling, Jack's size and power will be too much for Islam, and the kind of wrestling dominance Makhachev displayed at lightweight may not translate as effectively at welterweight. He also added that if Jack secures the win, much of the buzz surrounding a possible Islam versus Topuria showdown would quickly fade. Overall, Sterling believes Makhachev could be in for a very challenging night.
JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam, shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
Do you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. It's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier shared that if Islam Makhachev captures the welterweight title, it would elevate his legacy significantly and cement his place among MMA's all-time greats. Cormier already ranks Makhachev as one of the elite fighters, but believes that becoming a two-division champion would solidify that status even further. He also noted that a matchup between Makhachev and Belal Muhammad is unlikely, as both fighters have publicly stated they won't face each other out of respect for their close friendship.
Is able to do this would further cement himself as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He really would. He would cement himself as one of the greatest of all time. I think he's already one of the greatest of all time. But by going up to 170, one of the things that he would not do was fight Belal Muhammad. And they were very clear about him and Belal Muhammad about not wanting to fight each other.
Daniel Cormier described a potential clash between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev as a high-stakes and thrilling matchup with significant implications. He mentioned that if Jack keeps up his recent strong run, the fight becomes even more compelling, especially since Islam hasn't yet been tested at welterweight. While Cormier acknowledged Islam's physical strength, he questioned whether Makhachev could match Jack's size and natural frame, noting reports that Islam has recently slimmed down. He also expressed concerns about whether Islam will have enough time to put on the necessary weight and fully adapt to the demands of the heavier division.
Regardless, it's a fantastic fight. It's a big-time fight. And if Jack Della looks the way he did last weekend, it's very, very intriguing fight. Because we've never seen Islam Makhachev fight up at 170 pounds. We've never seen it. We've never seen him have to compete up 15 more pounds. Yes, he is a big dude. But in terms of full-on stature, is he big as Jack Della Maddalena is? And also, if he thought he may fight International Fight Week, how small had he gotten? And how much time does he have to put the weight back on the right way before he moves up?
Daniel Cormier also emphasized that the anticipation for a potential bout between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena goes beyond just their fighting skills. He explained that the narrative itself is gripping, with Jack having recently claimed the welterweight title by defeating Belal Muhammad and now facing a dominant champion moving up from a lighter division. Cormier highlighted that the buildup is charged with drama, tension, and many open questions, making it a must-watch event. While experts will break down the strategies later, he believes it's the story surrounding the fight that makes it especially captivating at this moment.
A lot of questions. It's a big-time fight, and we'll get into the X's and O's as we get closer. But right now, we're talking the story. We're talking about a guy that just beat Belal Muhammad to become champion. Now I'm getting challenged by a 155-pound.
Getting challenged predicted that Islam Makhachev will defeat Jack Della Maddalena and become a two-division UFC champion, calling it a natural progression in his career. On the other hand, Kamaru Usman expressed his support for Jack, praising his calmness under pressure and believing he has what it takes to defend his welterweight title. Both agreed the matchup is likely to take place in October in Abu Dhabi, which means any potential fight between Islam and Ilia Topuria is on hold for the time being.
Shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the talking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilia versus Islam Makhachev just...
Welterweight contender Stephen Thompson shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's move up to 170 pounds, highlighting the new challenges that come with the size and strength typical of the division. He noted that many welterweights cut from over 205 pounds, so despite Islam's natural strength, he may still face a physical disadvantage. While Jack Della Maddalena might have a slight height edge, Thompson stressed that raw power is the key factor at welterweight. He complimented Islam's grappling skills, but pointed out that Jack has already faced tough wrestlers like Belal Muhammad.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 into 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JD.
Former UFC champion Robert Whittaker also shared his perspective on Islam Makhachev's jump to welterweight, suggesting the move could actually improve his performance. He highlighted how tough the cut to 155 pounds has been for Islam and believes that his strength at lightweight could translate well at 170. Whittaker compared this situation to Ilia Topuria's potential move up and described it as the $1 million question, noting that fans are eager to see how Makhachev adapts to the higher weight class.
It's, I guess that's the $1 million question. That's the question everybody's asking. And that's kind of the question. It's the same situation as Topuria as well. How good is Topuria? But what's he going to look like upper weight division? Same with Islam. By all reports, though, the weight cut was really hard for him, like really, really hard. He's super strong for that weight division, which, must translate well to moving up, making it a little bit easy cut. Maybe he gets a little bigger. It's, I'm very, that's the $1 million question. Everybody's asking.
However, Robert Whittaker acknowledged that predicting Islam Makhachev's performance at welterweight is challenging, as moving up a weight class always brings uncertainties. He explained that both the physical and strategic demands can shift significantly, making the transition unpredictable. Despite this, Whittaker expressed strong confidence in Makhachev's skill set, saying Islam can do everything Belal Muhammad does, but at an even higher level.
But like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Belal does, but way better. Okay, way.
Robert Whittaker also commented on Jack Della Maddalena's recent performances, acknowledging that while Jack secured a clear win, the fight was competitive. He sees a potential bout between Jack and Islam Makhachev as a challenging test for both fighters. Whittaker praised Jack's potential, highlighting his hunger, determination, and what he described as an X factor. Just as Jack stepped up against top contenders like Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns, Whittaker believes he has what it takes to rise to the occasion once more.
But like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Belal does, but way better. Okay, way.
However, Patricio Pitbull Freire feels that Islam Makhachev should have taken on Ilia Topuria before. Moving on to Jack Della Maddalena. He believes Islam could have finished Topuria within the first or second round and still been ready to face Jack by October, potentially as the main event in Abu Dhabi. Patricio wasn't surprised that Islam steered clear of Topuria during International Fight Week, pointing out that Islam has already defeated 2 featherweights and likely doesn't want to face another. While many fans believe Topuria could beat Islam, Patricio disagrees. He just thinks it would have been satisfying to see Islam put on a masterclass against Topuria first.
Islam, I would have fought Topuria, beat Topuria, and then fought Jack Della in like 4 months later. Because Islam will probably want to headline the Abu Dhabi card. Like if he smokes Topuria, like he smoked Moicano and some of the others in the first, second round, he'd be good to go from June, July, August, September, October. Yeah. He'd be good to go in October against Jack Della. If I was Islam, I would have done that.
So are you surprised that he didn't fight Topuria at International Fight Week?
Yeah, but I can see where he's coming from. He's already beat he beat a featherweight twice, saying he doesn't want to beat another featherweight. But, you know, loads of people think Ilya beats Islam, which I don't. So it would have been nice to see Islam.
Bilal Muhammad remains optimistic about a future showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. He believes the fight would gain even more significance if Islam secures the welterweight title and Ilia wins the lightweight belt. Muhammad pointed out that if Islam were to defeat Ilia now, some critics might downplay the victory by saying he only beat a featherweight. However, if both fighters become champions in their new divisions, a catchweight bout between them would generate much greater hype and importance.
Now, for example, Islam fights Ilia and he beats him. Example, people say he beat another 145er. But Islam wins the title now at welterweight. And then Ilia beats Oliveira. That's even bigger fights to create, right? So I don't think Islam needs to slow down his career. He go take, even they strip his belt off. In my opinion, he will be double champion because that's how it started. If Conor could, why Islam can't, you know? And I think it create bigger name for them if this way better rather than Islam fight Topuria and the hype slows down. You know what I mean? I rather see Islam becomes the champion, Ilia Topuria becomes the champion, and they can fight at catchweight for the other.
Meanwhile, Gilbert Burns expressed support for Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, seeing 170 pounds as a more suitable weight class given the difficulty of Makhachev's lightweight cuts. Burns acknowledged Islam as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters, but cautioned that the fight against Jack Della Maddalena could be tighter than anticipated, highlighting Jack's high-level training. He views the matchup as very competitive.
He's working very hard. He's being vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he'll not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think, and JDM has a clear shot.
The welterweight division is gearing up for a monumental showdown. On one side, a fighter aims to etch his name in history by capturing a title in a second weight class, while on the other, the reigning champion prepares to defend his crown against a powerful challenger moving up. With debates around size, strength, and tactics fueling anticipation, this fight is shaping up to be one of the most intense and high-stakes matchups in recent memory. The countdown is officially underway.